wanting to rewrite the industry's rulebook by changing what we see in the world of modelling. Robin Dalrymple was fitted with a stoma in 2014 after being diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Now aged 29, she says she wants to use her platform to change perceptions about her condition and how we see it. And Robin joins me this morning. Morning, Robin.
Good morning, how are you? You too, thanks for having me.
Now, you were first diagnosed, let's go back actually to this, you were diagnosed at the age of 18, weren't you? How did you deal with that at the time?
Well, obviously, straight at the beginning, I didn't know much about Crohn's disease or how serious it was. It did run in my family, and my auntie was quite unwell with it. But once the diagnosis came, the symptoms came quite quick after that, and they were very, very, excuse my language, hellish. And it was very difficult to deal with. It was certainly one of the most scariest times of my life. Very difficult to deal with, and I was really scared that I had cancer or that my life was going to end. It was very, very traumatic.
There's so much going on at 18, isn't there, in life without having to deal with that. For those who don't know, how does Crohn's disease affect you?
So Crohn's disease is a form of inflammatory bowel disease, and it affects you from your mouth all the way down the digestive system tract, and it can go right to your anal, your bum. And it can also affect your skin, it can affect your eyesight. It is quite a brutal chronic thing to have.
What were the doctors saying to you about how it was going to progress and how it would affect your life?
Well, obviously, if you leave inflammatory bowel disease untreated, it can become extremely life-threatening and could result in death because it causes further complications. Back in 2016, because of how bad the Crohn's was, it actually ended up developing sepsis, and I did nearly lose my life. So it can cause like multiple things with the body, which is quite scary. And obviously, to control Crohn's disease, you need to go through trial and error with different treatments. Unfortunately for me, every treatment failed, even the bag at one point. So the last resort for me was to have a large part of my colon removed, and that took away the inflammation, and that helped a great deal at the time.
I know someone that's been through it, Robin. It's a huge operation. It's a big thing to get used to.
Yeah, especially being dead young. I mean, when I was 18, you know, I just became legal of age. I could go out, I could do what I like, and I was very happy and excited. And then, boom, I get hit with that, and I was like, wow.
Have you talked to your friends about it? You know, did you, or did you just keep it to yourself?
Well, obviously, my friends knew that I wasn't well, but I don't think at the time they understood how serious it was, like, as well as myself and my family. So, you know, round about then, especially when I was unwell, I didn't really, sounds quite harsh, but I didn't really want visitors even, I didn't even want people touching me, like even like medical staff or anything like that, never mind seeing visitors. It affects everybody mentally differently, and Crohn's does affect everybody differently physically as well. Some's more severe than others. Unfortunately, mine was quite severe. But friends, I mean, they're really supportive now, but at the time they didn't give much support. But I feel like I was to blame mostly for that because I didn't let them. I didn't let anybody really support me because I was just so depressed and I couldn't even talk. It was quite bad.
Yeah, you're going through a lot. There's an awful lot to process.
Mm-hmm.
We all react in different ways. Tell me about getting the stoma and when the doctors told you that was the best way forward for you. How did you feel about that, Rob?
Well, obviously, at the beginning, I was like, oh, absolutely not. I mean, I'm young, it's very abnormal, it will ruin my body. That is your first gut instincts, and that is your first thought. But the surgeon did say to me, and it did turn out to be a true statement, that everybody that ends up getting a stoma bag, they never want to get rid of it. And that's the effect it's had on me, but obviously it's had a more bigger effect of what I've done with my modelling and my acting career. So it didn't take long for me to adjust to the bag. I mean, after the recovery period, I took to it quite quickly, I've said.
Yeah, the reason the doctor said that to you was because it makes your life much more livable again.
Yeah, definitely, because it is nice to not have to run to the toilet all the time and to like have chronic diarrhea all the time, and because when you're running back and forth to the toilet all the time, it's exhausting physically and mentally, and it just makes you feel so crappy, and you can't have a life like that. So yeah, it's definitely done a lot for me.
Now, you always wanted to be an actress and a model
Hmm.
as well, didn't you? Were you worried when you were going through this that your dream, that what you wanted to do with your career might not work out?
Definitely, because there is unfortunately still a lot of stigma and discrimination and even in this industry, with people with disabilities, whether they're visible or invisible. And especially because I have a scar and a stoma bag and stuff, and because I'm quite wee in height, I'm only 5'2", these could work against me in castings for future.
Let's just explore that a little bit, Judy. Stigma. Where does that come from? What's that about?
Well, I think well, first of all, it's something that people don't understand, and I think people won't sympathise on something they don't understand, and basically saying that we're not normal, and it's very prejudiced, and that we're very different, and I think it's a very harsh judgment because disabilities don't define who you are, and I've never had that mindset. Like I've even got a partner that's got a severe physical disability, and probably because I do have disabilities myself, I see past that, but I feel like it's just a lot to do with people that they just don't understand, and that's the big issue.
What's normal?
Yeah, exactly. Normal's boring. Like, why would you want to be normal?
That is the quote we will put up. So tell me about the work that you've been doing as an actor and a model. What work's come your way so far?
Okay, so for this year, that is a bit backwards, but anyway, this year, I done a modelling shoot. It was for students up in Paisley High Street, and that was different fashions. That was really, really enjoyable. And at the moment with the acting, I've only been back into acting for a year, and I've done a few extra gigs. I've done some sets like River City, Mayflies, Batgirl, and what else have I done? Yeah, I've actually been casted at the moment for a TV series called Extreme Justice, and that is a Scottish crime programme directed by Bill Little, and that is getting aired worldwide on an American channel called RME Entertainment. I've also just done a short film that was also a short film that was a horror film that was really, really good. I'm also getting one-on-one training at the moment at Acting Coach Scotland because I've got an audition coming up soon for that. And I'm still applying for castings as I go along. So yeah, the stuff I have got going on at the moment with the acting's keeping me really busy because it's filming over an 8-month period. And yeah, so it's really going well. The acting, to be fair, has kicked off quite a bit, and I never imagined it would in just a year, because that is next to nothing. Being in the acting industry, that is not even a long time, do you know what I mean? So I feel very blessed, and I'm very excited for the future holds in acting, because I am trying my hardest to pursue my dream.
Two sides to this, I guess. There's the confidence that you get from being cast and getting these opportunities, and there's also the message, and this is really important, isn't it? The message that it sends out to other people, especially other young people in your situation with Crohn's and with the stoma, that anything is possible.
Yes. Yeah, anything is possible, because obviously when you get a diagnosis of any chronic illness, you just automatically think that's it, my life's done. But it's just really the beginning of a new chapter, and again, it does affect everybody differently. And I think people get mistaken with me sometimes because they always ask, how do you get such confidence? And I was like, honestly, it takes time. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think people need to stop being so harsh on themselves, because we're living in a time, even though discrimination is still a thing, but people are being more accepting and more understanding. And I just want to be that voice for people that are still in that situation where they feel that they can't move forward with their lives and they can't reach out for their dreams. Even though they are far away, they can reach them, because if I can do it, they can most certainly do it. There's no doubt about it.
When you kind of look ahead to your future, what do you see? What would you like to be doing with this career? Where would you like to be in a few years' time?
Well, I'm actually in the process of writing my own TV series about Scottish independence, and I should be finished that this year, and hoping I can find investors that are interested in it, because it's really bizarre and it's never been done. It's very different. and I am also making a documentary, and a documentary is based on my personal journey trying to make it as a model and actress while living with these illnesses in the bag. And yeah, I don't really mind where my success takes me in acting if I do get successful. It's not about being in TV, it's not about being famous or being known, it's just about living my dream, and it's about the experience and showing people that you can do what you want to do in life after diagnosis of chronic illness. Thank you very much.
And model. Your thoughts on that, especially maybe if you also have Crohn's disease and you've also been through some of the trials and tribulations that Robin has been through. Shared with us this morning. It's 80295 to text us about anything you hear on the show right now, though. It's exactly 10:20 on a Thursday. It's BBC Radio Scotland.
A new BBC Sounds podcast investigates a 90s legal scandal which shook Scotland.